Welcome to the podcast from the St. Louis Sportists, an occasionally smart, always irreverent look at sports in St. Louis and beyond. And now, your St. Louis Sportists.
Hello and welcome to the podcast from the St. Louis Sportists. My name is Ron Cook, and I am joined by Joe Sperlin.
Hey, good to be back.
And Doug Lansdowne.
Yep, happy to be here. AVA.
Yeah, it is the
I was getting ready to
episode. And again, for those of you that do not recall, Joe Sperlin, Doug Lansdowne, and I are all proud graduates of Ava High School in Douglas County, Missouri. And if you don't know where that is, folks, center of the state, one county north of Arkansas.
That's the center of the universe. Is
Well,
what
there
it
it
pretty much is.
Do they have a tagline right now? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't either. Tom Mathis and Keith Farrell are on assignment. Joe, you were on assignment last week. Would you like to share?
Yeah, I would. I was in assignment last week. I was at St. Joe for Emma to get her white coat ceremony for her nursing. They kind of make it, and someone said, "Oh, I didn't know she's going to be a doctor." And I said, "Well, she's just going to be a nurse." And they kind of celebrate the same way. So she has that option of possibly going and being the nurse practitioner. So she's kind of looking at that. So there's a nice little ceremony, and she'll be hopefully done in December of 27. So
that is awesome. That is awesome. Congratulations to her. Congratulations to you. And we're joined by Marvin the Cat.
Yeah, and we were also got to golfing yesterday. We were at Silo Ridge, and what a great day for golf yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
There's nothing better than for about 4 holes when you said, "Hey, it's snowing."
Did it get above 36?
The temperature was, but the wind chill when I looked, it was 31 when it was snowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the days you golf with 2 gloves, right?
Oh yeah. Hey, they have those, Doug, you may have one of those, they look like the sliding mitts.
Yep.
They're just huge mittens because they just want to be them off and on and all that stuff. And that's what I even said. I go, "Hey, we could use those for sliding mitts. If I ever go back to playing softball, I'll have to have sliding mitts that say "thing" on them." So.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. In this edition, happy March Madness, everyone. It's 3 weeks, unlike any other on the sports calendar. The U.S. baseball team comes up just short at the World Baseball Classic, but the real winner is the World Baseball Classic. Opening day is next Thursday for your St. Louis Cardinals. The Blues continue to excel coming off a break, and St. Louis City has one goal. No, not one goal scored so far this season. The St. Louis Sportists are brought to you by First Coast Steel Buildings. Jason and his team will take your project from design to completion with a family-first approach. Learn more at firstcoaststeel.com, and we'll hear more from them later in the show. And Jason is getting ready to offer an exciting new special here that we hope to have ready for you next week. So stay tuned for that. Tonight's last call is brought to you by Black Dog Consulting, LLC. Dave is here to help the one truck owner and the small fleet owner to grow and prosper, and you can reach him at 417-217-9622. Black Dog Consulting, helping you retrieve bigger profits. If you feel like it and wouldn't mind leaving us a review, it really helps us. It helps more people find the pod. We're on X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, getting ready for some dance numbers, and Blue Sky. You can watch this if you'd like on YouTube at STL Sportists. And if you've not watched this on YouTube, some people really enjoy it on YouTube. I tell you,
it's got to be must watch.
At stlsportists.com. The website is stlsportists.com. And folks, this is quite a week for us. I'm going to bring Ava back into it. We have just passed 3,000 followers. And ironically, that surpasses. Hi, Marv. The population. we have a fourth member of the podcast. That's the cat Marvin. So anyway, 3,000 followers, and that surpasses the population of Ava, Missouri when we graduated high school, which
that's right.
I recall was 2,768 people. So more people are following this podcast than lived in Ava. when we graduated. Let's go to the quick hits before I get in more trouble.
Woo.
Joe
Yeah.
Sperlin, what do you have?
Hey, this just showed up here just like an hour ago, and I happened to just see this on the X. But the NFL, if they cannot agree with the Referees Association, is planning on having replacement officials to start the year.
Oh, dear.
They said the league is looking to a list of about 150 mostly small college officials by the end of the weekend. They would begin onboarding as early as April, then attend a 4-day clinic in May. And absent of a CBA agreement, they would continue training through the summer and make visits to training camps before the regular season begins. The NFL declined comment on that, but of course, the officials said they had several comments. So, what is the NFL? $30 billion. I mean, how do you let this happen? Come on.
The only thing that would have made it better is if the officials, before delivering their statements, would have turned on a little pack, on their belt before they delivered their messages.
It's like, come on. It's almost, I see the players going, we're not doing this again. The owners are, we're not doing this again. And just give them their money. Come on, man. I mean,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I said, how about a business organization that can pay all your employees for you ever develop or deliver a product like the NFL can? But their TV contract alone can pay all of their employees.
If you thought you didn't know what pass interference was before, just wait.
my favorite was the not small college officials.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, let me tell you who the small college officials are. The same guys that do high school games on Friday night.
Yep.
Well, this should work well. All right. Something to look forward to. And by the way, the opening game this year is going to be, I heard this morning, instead of the traditional Thursday, they're going to have it on a Wednesday because there was some event, I forget what it was, that they didn't want to go up against. So it's going to be on a Wednesday this year. Who knew? Doug, what do you have?
Speaking of one goal, soccer very rarely captures my attention. But did you see the goal that kid from Arsenal scored last night?
Being an Arsenal fan, yes, I did.
Holy cow! And I knew you were watching it, and wow. I mean, I very seldom am wowed by soccer, but that was impressive.
So, Doug, you were actually watching the Arsenal game?
No, I was up early this morning. No, it was SportsCenter top 10, and it was like number 2, and it should have been number 1.
I thought maybe you were getting your World Cup knowledge brushed up on and was starting to keep track of all that. So
it's getting closer, though. I'll be ready.
Okay, well that's good. You'll be an expert on offside. You'll be like raising the flag whenever someone goes offside.
Yeah.
But yeah, Doug, that was one of those put your beverage down goals. Like, oh my gosh, and then you're like, I don't care if they show 9 replays. Absolutely.
So I actually rewound it so I could watch it again. So.
All right, I'm going to look that up.
Yes, definitely. And for mine, how often do I get to quote Gerald R. Ford in the podcast? Our long national nightmare is over. The WNBA and the WNBA Players Association have reached a verbal agreement.
Oh, thank God.
But that's not the good news. The good news is the season will start on time. And for those of you not watching on YouTube, I just did the Bill Clinton invisible pencil when I did season will start on time. So yes, they've reached a verbal agreement. The average revenue share of 20%, the new salary cap. Tell me if I think that this is good. Again, Joe, you're the math guy.
Okay.
The average salary cap goes from 1.5 million to 7 million. Is that good?
That's quite a bit.
Okay. All right. So anyway, They seem quite happy with it. It's one national sports business publication that I follow called it the Caitlin Clark effect, or as
Yes.
Bruce Pearl would call it, the Caitlin Smith effect. We'll talk about Bruce a little bit
Yeah.
a little bit later on. But hey, it's March Madness. The brackets came out Sunday, and if you lived in St. Louis, it was the worst possible timing because we were in the middle of tornado warnings, and so they split the screens. They split the screens, and we couldn't hear anything. And then they would forget when they came back, and you're like, "Oh, great! You've already got half that bracket filled." Who did we think were just kind of general winners or losers? Because back when we were growing up, it was always who got sent out west, which half the time was Georgetown.
Hey, Arkansas.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Arkansas. Calipari. I know this wasn't what it meant, but he should have said the same thing. You're either getting peed off or peed on.
Yeah, that wow. Not a great travel experience there for the Hogs. Going to Oregon.
No, and I love it when he says, "Where are we going?" Portland. Oh, and then he stops and goes, "Well, nothing against those fine people of Portland. I mean, the guy, he should, if he keeps winning, I'll say he will end up being the governor of Arkansas. But yeah, he definitely needs to get into politics because, yeah, he was complaining, but still saying nice things about Portland. And then the funny thing was when he goes, "Wait, who are we playing? Hawaii? Wait, are we going to Hawaii? Or are we playing in Portland? I can't remember." I mean,
when they say nice things about the city they're going to, I always think of Shooter McGavin and Happy Gilmore. It's like, "Oh, you people have charmed my heart," or whatever, and they all go, "Oh," and clap. I heard a great story today that SLU kind of figured they were going to be 9 or 10, and at the watch party they see, in St. Louis, Miami is a 7, and they're like, "Here we go."
yeah.
And then they see Mizzou pop up. And there was like an audible groan in the room. So instead of going a few blocks down the street, Doug, SLU gets sent to Buffalo.
Buffalo. No place I'd rather be. Marv Levy would be happy. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
At least it's spring. But at any rate, the Missouri Tigers are going to have what some people are calling practically a home game. I don't know. Is this practically a home game, Doug, for Mizzou?
Well, let's see. They were there, right before Christmas and lost by 40? Yeah. Yeah. So they play really well on that court. So, yeah, Big Bad Brad and his group of merry men have taken them to the woodshed there 3 or 4 years in a row. Or did they win?
No, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I was at that, and I'll never forget it because Gates just had this look of absolute frustration on his face, and the Jumbotron zoomed in on him for 20 seconds, and the whole arena kind of went, ooh.
I don't think I'm going to go back again. I've been beating the drum forever. I don't think it matters if they play in Mizzou Arena or in Portland or in Hawaii. I mean, in I think Miami is a good matchup for them. I really do. I think Mizzou has a legitimate chance to win that game. So, but I know people in Miami be upset, like I said, but with that team, I don't think it matters where they play.
So, yeah. And then, Joe, after that, they'd get Purdue. Oh my.
Yeah. Yeah.
They won't have any trouble with Braden Smith. They'll keep him in front of them all night. Yeah. No problem with him.
It's the deal now. People talking about Purdue saying, well, this is why they were the preseason number 1. And, there's a lot of people got them as a dark horse of going to the finals or winning it all. But Ron, I also read a deal talking about Mizzou, why they got to go to St. Louis there was a long list. It was like the ultimate of tiebreakers that certain people couldn't go here and certain people couldn't play someone in their own conference. There was a possible 16, in the second round, you can't play someone in your own conference and you haven't played. I mean, it was a long list of 9 different tiebreakers. And then it was So what do we do with Mizzou? Oh, boom, they go right there. Or you could have done like Houston did, who instead of them hosting the regional in Houston, they had Rice do it. So guess where Houston is at? Yeah, they're in Houston because Rice is the host. Like any chances of Rice being there, but yeah, that's how Houston pulled that one off.
Well, Mr. Sampson has to be very happy after whining about his NIL. Has to be very happy about that.
Yeah.
So speaking of SLU, they get the Georgia Bulldogs, including Dominique Wilkins' kid. And if they get past that, most likely Michigan.
Michigan is a team I thought got the best bracket draw for number 1 seed.
Yeah.
I thought the Midwest is set up pretty good for them.
Yeah. Yeah, the Billikens have had this tendency. They went 11 minutes in that in their last game without a field goal. They had 2 free throws in the second half, and then almost 11 minutes without a field goal. And this is not. They said that, and Doug, you would know more about this than me, but they said that teams have just changed the way that they guard SLU. That they're getting more physical and tougher on the outside shots on SLU.
Yep. And Georgia is kind of the same way. They score in bunches, and then they go a bunch of time without scoring. So it could be a bunch of 11-0, 12-0 runs, but it all evens out in the end.
Yeah. Hey, the ending of that SLU game, unbelievable. Holy cow.
All right, we were saying that when these jokers run on the court, while the clock is still moving, someone needs to just grab the ball and like throw it at one of them.
Well, I don't even care if there's not supposed to be. What was it last night? There was a Texas assistant.
The Texas assistant
run out on the court. Hey, I'll guarantee you, all those officials got a memo for the NCAA tournament. Yeah. I just don't know how that happens. I mean, I kind of get a player, but the assistant, I'm sure it handled well when Sean Miller probably said really calmly, please don't do that again.
Yeah.
Sean Miller got up in his face like twice.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I knew who that dude was, you'd look to see, is he even going to be on the bench the next game? They won't even let him be the kid that's running the iPad to see if they review anything.
They'll have him in the second row behind the bench.
Right,
yeah. Right. Before we leave SLU, Joe Sperlin, Blue Horseshoe, I've heard Josh Schertz, who was extended since we last got together, say that Georgia's the only team that goes faster than us in the country, or as fast. So I'm wondering about an over on that, but I don't know what it's set at. So that might be one to check. I think
it's 169, which, that's, 85 each.
Oh, wow.
Now, like you said, you hit that 11-0 run. I mean, now, but also, could you also see it 105 to 100?
Yeah, totally.
But, yeah. I mean, I still think that's a lot of points.
That is, well, that's a ton of points. 169.
Especially with two teams like they both, like you said, Doug, they'll go 3 or 4 minutes without scoring.
And I don't know what this means, but they're playing at 9:30 Eastern. So you've got that to kind of roll into the mix as well. The Fighting Illini of Illinois gets the Penn, which I believe Doug was last relevant. What, didn't they make the Final Four like in 78 or 79?
79. They were there with Magic and Larry.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Booty Salters was their point guard.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's why you come to the Sportists, because if you can remember the a starter from the 1979 Penn team.
Booty Salters, yep.
Wow. And as I recall, their first half, they got like horribly, horribly behind. It was like that game was over at halftime.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But,
I think Illinois got a chance of getting to their finals.
Yeah, and we, I just kind of in our show notes put North Carolina, but man, there's that VCU, that North Carolina VCU game could be pretty darn entertaining.
Yeah, you could have what's his name, Davis, he could end up deciding he's going to coach a little bit, and yeah, the North Carolina gets beat. But Houston's not the same Houston on Garden like they used to,
No.
and I think they think they are, but they don't. So hey, as we all know, Illinois can shoot it and likes to shoot it and likes to shoot threes.
Yeah, they can. They just need to avoid, they've had a little bit of that late season swoon, kind of like SLU that started when they were losing the games, Doug, like they weren't supposed to. I go back to that Wisconsin overtime game at home where it's like they had no business, A, going into overtime, and B, losing in overtime.
When they struggle, they'll go on about a 4-minute run and they will take some really bad shots.
Yeah.
Bad shots. And it's just not, they don't jack the three. I mean, they'll jack some threes, but then they'll get in there and they have that little 3 or 4 minute run where they take some poor shots.
I always said it was the February boredom of, hey, can we get to March?
Yeah.
Because, hey, if we lose this game, it really doesn't matter.
So please explain to me how St. John's wins their conference, wins their tournament, beats UConn, and ends up as a number 5 seed, while UConn ends up as a number 2 seed.
Oh, yeah.
How? How does that happen, Doug?
Your body of work. Yeah. All they did was piss Rick Pitino off. So, I think, I still think UConn will come out of that bracket, but I think it's UConn and St. John's playing each other to see who gets the Final Four.
Yeah.
That could be. Could very well be.
They have a possible game with a questionable Kansas team, and then you got a Duke, and yeah.
I like calling Kansas questionable. I think that's one of the most charitable things you can possibly say about them right now.
Yeah. Hey, I could see Bill Self just stand up and stare out there and then just go, oh, the hell with it.
Just walk off.
Just go ahead and just stand there. And stand there and just shake his head the entire time.
Well, when your best player gets full body cramps, I've never heard of that before. I guess he needed some pickle juice or something.
Yeah.
And then a lot of folks mentioned that Bruce Pearl, who replaced Jay Wright, which my goodness, I can't come up with an analogy for that, but it's really bad. Bruce was on lobbying for his 17 and 16 Auburn Tigers, coached by his son, to make it over several other teams. In the show notes, I just wrote Bruce Pearl jackass. Joe, anything you'd like to add to that?
I would have said I really thought a lot of Bruce Pearl until he put a microphone and put him behind that desk at CBS. Like I said, I think he just got in there and got a little crazy. Took a lot of heat for it, now backed off of it. And even now, I think he'll say, hey, when Charles Barkley's sitting there telling you, what the hell were you thinking, then that's when it's like Auburn don't need to be in there. Did you guys listen to Charles and Dick Vitale last night?
Yeah.
The best line I saw on that was, I'm watching a really great podcast and there's a basketball game going on in the background.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know why that old boy that was trying to talk about the game was even talking.
No, they didn't need him. No.
And I think people would have enjoyed it because, it was like those two talking. I think that was a great idea. Hey, the only thing that would have been better if Charles would have done one of the 16-16 games and wouldn't have known any of the players, wouldn't have known where the places were located. And that'll be one of the things they do, kind of like I did on the name the conference and name the school.
Yep.
And they'll say name the mascot, and he's so off. It's hilarious.
That telecast was the closest we've seen to a basketball Manning cast, I think, ever.
Yeah, exactly.
But, so folks, with that, surprise, it is time for a special bonus trip to Blue Horseshoe's Corner. We're going to talk a little handicapping now that sports betting is legal in the great state of Missouri. Suck it, Denny. I'll probably cut that out.
Keep it.
That's for people that go way back with us. So, Blue Horseshoes Corner, we're going to take a look at the three teams we followed, Mizzou, SLU, and Illinois, and then we'll talk about some trends and anything else that Blue Horseshoe has. With that, Blue Horseshoe.
Okay, I'm trying to think here. Who plays first?
Mizzou is late Friday. Illinois and SLU are tomorrow night, basically at the same time, like 8:30,
I got you.
8:45.
All right, let's start with Illinois in the Penn. Illinois is minus 25.5, which, by the way, they've said with the NLI kicked in that the 1 and 2 and 3 seeds are the biggest spreads possibly in tournament history. I'll just say this in a long time. So minus 25.5. Doug, what do you think?
I want Penn and the points.
Okay.
Don't forget that Fran McCaffrey is coaching at Penn.
I'm with you, Ron.
He spent a few days coaching against Bad Brad at Illinois.
Yeah, I'll be the contrarian and say that Illinois just overwhelms them, and they've had a few days here, and if their shooting is on, it won't matter.
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to give you some stats that I don't know if there's anything bigger on stats than the NCAA tournament, and you can find, like I said, you can find whatever information you want to go with what you want to go. But the one I saw, the 3 seeds cover 64.5% of the time. So even though I think this is going to be that 35.5%. Give me Penn plus the 25.5. Just because of coaching, Doug, I'm with you.
Huh.
So this is that 1 out of 3 that I'm going to go with. And then we got the SLU, Georgia. Georgia is minus 2.5. SLU is the 9 seed. Georgia is the 8 seed. Ron, what do you think?
I think I've seen Georgia have some games where they just don't show up. And I know this is the tournament and they would be more motivated, but I'm just going to say SLU, and I'm going to say not by much.
Okay. Doug, what do you think?
I am going to go the other way. I just don't like how they have limped to the finish. I think Georgia wins and covers.
All right, here's another stats. The 8-9 games, if they're 3.5 points or less, which this would be, the favorite covers only 24% of the time. So give me the SLU.
Interesting. Huh.
And there was another stat with that, but I got that number down. I don't know what it was. All right, then here we go. By the way, the get-in price now for this game, what did we say, Ron, was?
It's I heard 200. I heard 232 this afternoon. It's gone up a little, so 232 to get in, as high as $1,000.
All right, Miami, the 7 seed, minus 1.5. Mizzou. My favorite one was I saw someone had forgotten to put 120 miles, as Mizzou was 120 miles, and mistakenly put 20 miles away, and people on social media was going ballistic how Mizzou could be 20 miles away. And someone finally said, it's not 20 miles. It's 120. So
I like the Miami people complaining about it after they had a home game for the national championship in football.
Yeah. So, all right, Ron, what do you think?
This game, in my mind, is literally a coin toss. I think it's going to be 30 seconds to go, and it will be 1 point or another, and it's going to be whoever executes. And I think I'm giving it to Mizzou on proximity only. So Mizzou barely, ugly, and something like Miami missing a layup at the buzzer.
Doug?
Mizzou wins outright.
All right. Okay, Mizzou. There's 365 Division I schools. Mizzou is 307 in shooting free throws. But hold on. Miami's 310. So it comes down to missed free throws. And are you ready? In the 7-10 game, the team that the spread is between +3 or -3, so Miami would be minus 1.5, has covered 62.9% of the time since 2003. So that is the U. So give
Wow.
me the U.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you sit there and go, that's horrible free throw shooting. I believe our good friends, Missouri State, was 322.
I watched those games. Yeah, they were very
Yeah.
bad. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
That's bad free throw shooting. Spend some of that NLI money on getting some free throw shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, fill out your brackets. This is only for entertainment purposes.
Oh, yes, Joe, I'm supposed to remind people that these picks are for entertainment purposes only and should not be the basis of any actual wager. If you believe you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
There you go.
Joe, last year you gave me, or 2 years ago, you gave me one of the favorite, you talk about the numbers, one of the favorite trends I've ever heard in the tournament.
Oh yeah, it's the if you play under 1 o'clock Eastern, any game, anybody that, and there's like 4 games, take the under. And that's something ridiculous, something like the under hits something like 67% of the time. So that's TCU, Ohio State, Nebraska, Troy, before the 11 o'clock, the noon games, there's all those games. And then there's like, if the first half total is 75 or less, which is quite a bit, take the under. That's 67.5% in the last 20 years.
Yep.
So the college kids aren't used to being awake at that time. They're not used to playing at that time, and they're shooting at a gym they haven't played in typically.
Yeah, and a lot of them. And I think it's just and they also sit there and talk about they're trying to figure out what's going to work against certain people. Unless you just got teams that, but gosh, it's like I was talking with someone today. Everybody now is just, let's shoot threes. Let's do all this. I mean, it's run and gun. Let's get down there. So
yeah, it's our old favorite analytics.
Well, it's like Texas and NC State last night. That total was something like big time up there, like 156 or something, and the halftime score was 30-29.
Yeah, exactly.
I think there's that nervousness and just hey, here's what we're going to do. We're not going to make a mistake. So yeah, if you get looking at that, you can find all kinds of stuff on that.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Blue Horseshoe. We appreciate it as always. And with that, we're going to take a break and hear from the good folks at First Coast Steel Buildings. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the World Baseball Classic, the St. Louis Blues, the St. Louis Cardinals, and unfortunately, I guess we will breeze through St. Louis City. All this and more when we come back.
Are you in the market for a barn dominium, house, garage, man cave, carport, or hobby shop? Wondering how to get started or where to go? Whatever you are looking to design, look no further than First Coast Steel Buildings. Give Jason and his team a call at 912-314-4848. They will guide you through the process, designing your building to fit your specific needs and budget. Call them today at 912-314-4848 or get inspirational ideas and start designing your own by visiting them at firstcoaststeel.com. Again, that's the number 1, coaststeel.com. Their low-cost buildings are fully galvanized steel, providing you with worry-free, low-maintenance requirements, integrity, quality, and a family-first approach. First Coast Steel Buildings, 912-314-4848 or firstcoaststeel.com. Discounts for military and first responders.
And we are back on the St. Louis Sportist Podcast with Joe Sperlin and Doug Lansdowne. My name is Ron Cook. And Joe, it's every 3 years we have this little thing called the World Baseball Classic. And every year, every time around, it seems like it gets a little bit more attention, a little bigger.
Oh, I think exactly. I thought the excitement level of watching the semifinals and the finals were crazy. I mean, the emotion of that. I mean, the stands. I think one announcer just kept saying, "Hey, this place is juiced. This place is juiced every inning." He got, The fans here are juiced, but hey, players emotional, the fans emotional. I wonder, is the scoring a run now? Is it the thing now for everybody to run out of the dugout? I hope that's just
I think that's the WBC thing.
Okay.
But no, you're exactly right. It was like when Judge walked out with the American flag last night. I said to Jamie, I'm like, that's going to be on Twitter in about 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Leading the team out. And Doug, I thought it was interesting. Paul Skeens said that the U.S. jersey was the way he put it was the heaviest he had ever worn.
Yeah. I did figure out that in my fantasy baseball team, I want to try to get that Cubs closer. They pitch for Venezuela.
Some players emerged, and it's like I'd seen Bryce Terang, we all, see him in our division, but wow, there were some folks that kind of back to Bull Durham announced their presence with authority over the last few days.
Joe's right. It was exciting. The coverage was good. It was really good.
I like they said that pitcher from the Mets had never been clocked any higher than 95, and he was throwing 98 last night.
Yeah.
Now, I also worry about this, and you don't realize it until, as the old saying goes, until they divide up sides. The American pitching staff. Whoa. Now, I also like where they made comments like what was it? The Padres organization said he was only allowed to pitch one inning. And, my boy Scooball is sitting there going, not pitching again.
Yeah. Yeah. And you hear about insurance issues keeping guys from participating. Okay.
Yeah. And I get it. Now, here's my question. Is there any realistic another time they could play that?
It's funny you should say that because they came out with something, and folks, if you like a good, brisk 11-minute podcast every morning that has sports and business, there's one called the Sports Business Journal. And they were talking, Joe, about the Olympics. And it's like, okay, we all know when the 2028 Olympics are going to be. Well, how would they do that in the middle of a baseball season? What would happen to the other players? And imagine this, the players union is using it as a bargaining chip in the current, ongoing labor negotiations around the 27 contract. So yeah, that's a really good question. And it goes back to you remember, Doug, the Four Nation last year, when we were talking about what amazing hockey that was. And, same thing, playing for the country and the emotion. And I don't know, that's a little better than national versus American.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it would be. I'd be up for that.
So the ratings this year on the TV were the highest ever, including Sunday night. They just basically destroyed the Oscars, which isn't saying much. I mean, that's a very low bar these days. And the get-in price, we've been talking get-in prices. For this year to get into the championship game, it was $353. 3 years ago, it was $54. And so, again, I'm not a math expert, but $353 versus $54, Joe, I have to believe that's some pretty good sized percentage.
Hey, and they're sitting there scanning the crowd last night, and and they're showing they're scanning the crowd, and you see like last night I'm going, hey, there's Pat McAfee. I mean, just sitting in the stands, and you're sitting there going like, that guy they just went through looked really familiar. So, I mean, I think you're right. I think it's a big deal. I think coming off the Olympics, I think even made it a bigger deal. But I still say, I mean, to me, that was amazing baseball in March.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the pitchers were just bringing it. And, I don't get I always thought sinkers used to kind of go. I always think of, wasn't it Bruce Sutter had the sinker?
Well, the split-fingered fastball, yes.
Okay, split-fingered fastball. That's it. And I'm sitting there thinking that was a sinker, and I'm like, but that was still 98 miles an hour.
Right.
And my other favorite pitch is the sweeper, which we talked about that last year, that I had to look that up. It's like, what in the hell is a sweeper?
Yeah. Randy Carricker, a radio guy up here, said that Todd Worrell told him, gee, I guess I was throwing a sweeper 30 years ago.
Yes.
So
My favorite has got to be when they say a four-seam fastball.
Yeah. And I will say, Doug, that the Bryce Harper trip around the bases did remind me, speaking of those old Cardinals, of Jack Clark going around the bases against the Dodgers.
Yeah. Yeah. Good comparison.
I heard they timed it at 34 seconds.
That seems about right. Yeah.
Oh, dear. So
Hey, I'll say it again. I thought the pitching on both teams of the Dominican Republic and Venezuela was, you're sitting there going, holy crap, that's their pitching staff. And they got, and the United States bring that kid in who says, well, he pitched eight innings for the Mets.
Uh-huh.
Hey, and the other thing I noticed, and I don't know there was a huge amount of people in the dugouts.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people.
Reminds me of Mike Leach talking about the guys on the sideline, that he would look over and say, how did that guy get down here?
Yeah.
So, so we talked about Four Nation. And if you recall, after Four Nation, that was when the Blues went on that great run and made the playoffs last year. Well, after the Olympics, they're doing it again. The Blues are 7-2-1 in their last 10. The money puck odds, because I know you guys are up for this, 1.2%. Now that is up from 1% last week.
Yep.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
They are 27, 30, and 10, 7th in the Central. The concern up here is basically they're playing better at the wrong time. The term I've heard is the ugly middle. So we're going to miss the playoffs, but we're going to screw up the good draft pick. We're not losing enough to get a really high draft pick. We're just winning enough to screw things up. So anyway,
they need to take the model from the NBA. You either tank or you don't.
Yeah.
You can't be in between.
Yeah. But Joe, your favorite middle. Jimmy Snoogerud is the real deal. Yeah. My gosh, he had a scoring streak there, and he just looks like he's going to be around for a long time.
He just needed a little rest there for a little bit, and he's ready to go.
Absolutely. Speaking of rest, Doug, those of us in St. Louis that partake in this sort of thing are starting to get ready for next Thursday, which is opening day in St. Louis. There's absolutely nothing like it. Matthew Liberatore will be on the mound. It was announced today. Old saying in baseball, there are opening day starters and there are pitchers who start on opening day. Which is he?
In honor of Keith not being here, I think he's an opening day starter.
I would agree. He's come a long way.
Well, he had a lot of hype, and it's taken a while to live up to it. But I think he's an opening day starter, and Keith was spot on with him last year. So
yep. I think he could easily be one of those 32 start guys this year. And I don't know if 200 innings. I mean, what? 2 or 3 guys through 200 innings last year, but maybe get at least, maybe is 180 the new 200? I don't know.
Yeah.
Hard to say. Nelson Velasquez has come out of nowhere, played with the Royals a couple of years ago, and he's had quite a spring. 333, 4 home runs. He has become that right-handed hitting outfielder they were looking for, but there's another right-handed hitting outfielder that is the cause of major concern, and that's Jordan Walker. Dougie has one option left. Is he going to be better served trying it in Memphis, or should he stay with the coaches and the resources up here? What do you think?
I think you start him in right field and play him the whole month of, last week of March, the whole month of April. And then he'll be never heard from again.
Yeah, it's hard to come up with someone, like off the top of the head, but, it'll be like a few years from now. I hope we're not saying, wow, who was that, really tall, big guy that we thought was going to be so good out in right field. You really hope he turns it around this year, but I don't want to say it's a last chance, but boy, it's getting close.
Now, I think you got to say it's a last chance. I mean, you've done all this rebuild. You got all these young players. You're going to give everybody supposedly gets their chance, and he's one of them. They said we're going to give him a chance. So I think you do it, but boy, all signs point down for him.
Joe, I have good news and bad news. The good news is Lars Nootbaar is making tremendous progress in his rehab. The bad news is they have not set a timetable for his return.
The good news is he can get up and down stairs now.
Without pain.
Yeah. Once again, there's improvement. There's improvement.
That's true. So anyway, it could be a Nootbaar, Velasquez outfield. It's interesting, Doug. They said Sajasi was kind of set back because he made the Italian team, and then they barely played him. So he was missed all that time at the WBC and didn't get to do some of the stuff with the Cardinals.
Yeah, and there's got to be other guys that's going to happen to as well.
Right.
We hear it because he's a St. Louis Cardinal, but what did he get, like 2 plate appearances?
Yeah, barely got a taste of the WBC. And so next week, folks, it will be our second year of the famous Cardinal preview in 20 questions. By the way, that was one of our most downloaded episodes last year.
How did Albert look in the dugout? He had the entire manager look. I mean, he's sitting there and I love the manager's look when they're sitting there and they got their hands across there and they're just staring out there like you have no idea what they're staring at. And then they turn and write stuff down and do all this stuff. And, he had the manager's look down.
He truly did. And, we talked last week about Tom Mathis starting to say that the U.S. needed a real manager, quote unquote. Why do I have a feeling Mark DeRosa might not be back in 3 years?
I can't believe you. I don't care if it's true or not. You do not sit there and say, well, I thought we were in. Hell, we'd all been drinking, having a good time, going out, and then next thing you know, like, oh wait, we have to beat the Italians. I mean,
we have to play.
How does that even make up some story? Don't sit there and say, yeah, I'm total incompetent, and everybody else in this total thing's running. We had no clue what's going on.
No, at least you'll be able to see him MLB Central in the mornings at 9:00 with Lauren Shihadi and Roflo.
Yeah. Well, and they announced him as the second place manager. Hey, I like the picture of some of those dudes as soon as they got it.
Schwarber?
Yeah, Schwarber. He got the ribbon and turned and walked and then ripped it off and just kept on. I mean, hey, did not, stay around for the little ceremony. He got it, turned and walked off, and you could see him. He just ripped it off his neck and just kept on walking left.
He is. I have become more of a Schwarber fan as time has gone by.
I mean, some of those dudes, I mean, they looked really pissed that they lost.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing I hate to say. I don't know if there's another, if I had runner on second and I needed a base hit, I think the last dude I would want up is Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is like, that's got strikeout when you need a base hit written all over it. Now, he'll also, end up hitting 65 home runs, but when you need that base hit, I'm like, that dude ain't going to get a base hit.
He's not the guy. I saw something on social today that said Aaron Judge in a pressure situation, and it just had him at the plate, and he didn't even have a bat in his hands.
Yeah,
it was just him in his
that's
stance.
Exactly right. I forgot what game it was. I was like, this dude has no chance of getting a hit here.
No, nothing.
Now, the Yankee fans listening are probably just, probably saying I'm taking the Lord's name in vain right there.
They're like saying he hit 331 last year. Okay, well, he didn't come through last night. So
yes, exactly.
We have a recency bias.
Yeah.
Speaking of a recency bias, the last time we saw Patrick Mahomes on a football field, it didn't go well for him. Doug, I believe you were there. In fact,
in person, only about probably 25 yards from where he went down. Yeah, it was ugly.
So now, Joe, they've made a decision on a backup quarterback, Mr. Fields from New York, who was a starting quarterback. So a starter becomes a backup.
I'm going to say for what the Chiefs do of him, if he's not ready to go, that'd probably be about as good a guy as they could have got,
Yep.
and got him pretty cheap. And now it's a lot of money, but I'm sure somehow, I don't know how that all works, but the Jets are probably paying for a lot of that. So
Yes, they are.
I mean, better than, I don't, if you were to sit there and said, hey, who can you get in there? And Justin Fields probably wouldn't have been one of your choices because you're like,
Right.
nah, there's no way the Chiefs could get him for. My favorite is Andrew Brand always says for a ham sandwich this time of year. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, you'd really be doing us a favor if you'd take this guy. And everybody kind of says, hey, oh yeah, okay, then I have a favor. Call so-and-so. They're looking for that. And they get those guys. But yeah, for him ready to go. And you know what? Probably going with Mahomes and Andy Reid and a couple years in Kansas City. And the next, Fields is somewhere else and he's probably being a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah. Dougie will not have Hollywood Brown to throw to. Is that as Mr. Brown goes to the Eagles, is that a major loss, or did he just never really become what the Chiefs had hoped?
I think that's addition by subtraction.
Yes.
And I think what you've seen the Chiefs figure out and decide is we got to get Mahomes back, and we got to beat people 34-31 or 35-30. I think they figured out they can't win any 16-14 games.
Right. It's time to go Don Coryell on him. For those of you that were around in the 70s.
Hey, and you wonder about the Eagles. Does that mean that A.J. Brown could be on his way out?
Imagine that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Doug, I'm 100% with you. That was addition by subtraction, without a doubt.
Yep.
And we mentioned Don Coryell when he was coaching the football Cardinals. They played a 14-game season. There is now a strong likelihood the NFL will go to an 18-game season. Can we just toss the record books out now, pretty much, I guess, from a certain era?
Yep.
What does it mean to be a 1,000-yard rusher anymore?
Yeah. Now, and season records will probably go pretty good, but hey, the NFL, let's get one more week in there, and then it'll be the Super Bowls of all Super Bowls. Yep, the money. And what everybody's always wished that they could have the Monday after the Super Bowl off, and not majority of people not after work.
Right. So there you go. Yeah, go to President's Day. We were all around when the NFL went from the 14-game schedule to the 16-game schedule. And two coaches, I'm pretty sure it was Landry and maybe Chuck Noll, yelled and screamed that there was no way they could have their team ready with any fewer than 6 preseason games. And now they're going to 2. So that's actually good, because preseason games, as a former NFL season ticket holder, were a fraud perpetrated upon us. Yeah. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
They were the same.
No one
same
played
price.
the first game and no one played the last game. So you just play 2 and there you go. And then guess what? They won't play. They won't play those 2 games,
I remember in the first preseason game was when, we always joked that the guys in the fourth quarter would be sacking groceries in a couple of weeks. But obviously they've moved to self-serve now at most of the grocery stores, so that's not even an option.
The Kurt Warner story never would have happened because he wouldn't have been sacking groceries or stocking shelves.
Nope.
Ron, I don't know if you remember or not, but you and I went to a preseason game.
Oh yeah.
And it was the Rams, of course, and they were playing Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, I do remember this. Yeah.
And speaking of groceries, they started dropping stuff from up top, and those people were out there in those shopping carts trying to catch the stuff at halftime.
Things you can do when you have a dome.
Yeah.
And I just remember you saying, this is not going to go well. Yeah, those people were pushing those carts around trying to catch that stuff, and they were falling, and the carts were going everywhere. And I'll never forget that.
When you had people looking up, running on AstroTurf, pushing carts,
not looking at the cart,
not looking, no.
You knew you were destined for A, disaster, but B, some first-class comedy. Speaking of disaster, St. Louis City is 0-3-1. They were shut out in Los Angeles despite playing relatively well. They will be back home this Saturday. They are one of 3 winless teams in the MLS. They are the only team to have scored only 1 goal this season. That is the lowest in the league. So we will hope for the best from St. Louis City. They've played better in terms of possessing the ball and some things like that. But, oh, dear.
Improvement. You can always, there's road for improvement.
Yes. That's absolutely true. And we have reached the last call, brought to you by Black Dog Consulting. With over 38 years in the transportation industry, Dave knows where to look to find those pennies per mile that make the difference between just getting by and profit and growth. From one-truck operations to small fleet owners, he has a proven multi-million-dollar track record to help you retrieve bigger profits. If this is the growth you are looking for, contact Dave at 417-217-9622 or David at blackdogconsultingllc.net. You can also check out the website, blackdogconsulting.net. Black Dog Consulting, helping you retrieve bigger profits. Doug, it's time for my weekly question. Have you called Dave yet?
Yes.
Outstanding. Okay.
Yes.
I'll mark
We
that
spoke-
off.
I
we
talked
spoke on the
to
phone.
Dave too this week.
That's good. All right.
I said,
with
Dave,
that-
Doug has a lot of boxes.
Yeah, we spoke for quite a while. It was good.
Yep.
There you have it. Joe, what do you have for a last call?
Hey, last call. I'm going to order 3 shots for each of us here. First of all, the March Madness, as I said, Charles Barkley experience to me. If you don't like Charles, I mean, he's going to say some. I think my funniest thing now is that he's employed by ESPN. How he bashes them about, are you going to talk 2 hours about LeBron winning a championship? And he just bashes 40-year-old LeBron and the Lakers. But Thad Matta retired from Butler. There's a guy who did it a long time and kind of started the Butler dynasty there in 2000 and was at Xavier in Ohio State and then was out for a while and then went back to Butler. Butler's struggling, as they put it, the commitment of NIL money is an issue at Butler, but they have committed for the new coach to get some NIL money. As we know, that is an issue. With some of the numbers that have been coming out lately is incredible what some of these guys are playing.
I heard $20 million for Kentucky, $20 million this year.
And $20 million for Texas, I think they said, because it was going to be like $1 million a win. Something like that. Speaking of a guy who's found some NIL money, the Muss out at USC has signed his 3rd McDonald All-American. So somehow in Southern California, the Muss has found some money. So look for them to immediately rise from the ashes out in Los Angeles.
That's another one of those programs. You know, we typically joke about Penn State, and I'm like, I can't name a Penn State basketball player. I can name Harold Miner from USC, and that's about it.
Well, he's got 3 McDonald All-Americans now that he's signed already. So, like I said, they have somehow found some money out there for him. So,
yep. Mr. Lansdowne?
So, Paul DePosta has returned to baseball. He was the right-hand man in Moneyball, and he is convinced that he can turn around the Colorado Rockies pitching staff.
Ooh.
And I don't know if you've read it or watched at it, but right now they haven't decided yet, but they are contemplating having a pitching staff with no defined roles.
Oh, my. Like high school.
Yep. No starter, no reliever, no middle reliever, no closer, no defined roles. That's what they're leaning towards. He said they may change, but they're leaning towards no defined roles. So,
wow,
just a pitching staff.
Oh my!
You know, that's one of those organizations. You know, every year we think, how do they still get to have a team? So, and it seems more prevalent in It seems more prevalent in baseball than it does some other organizations. But you know,
hey, and if they do kind of turn it around and win some games, oh my God, look what they've started.
Yep. So we'll see with the start of baseball next season or next week and the WBC and all that and everything. But he was right there with Billy Bean on Moneyball, and then he thought he was so smart. He went to the NFL, and he was 10 years with the Cleveland Browns. They've been really good the last 10 years too.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That will crush any man or woman. Yes.
No defined roles. So
My goodness, that's kind of been like me for the last 30 years. No defined role.
And there it is, the title of this episode.
I'm gonna be like Tom Mathis, and you know what? I'm gonna have my first double shot.
Have a double.
First one is Matt Leinart was asked to unretire his number 11 by USC. And he responded in a very direct fashion. He dropped an F-bomb and basically said, no effing way, especially considering the kid will probably transfer within a year.
Yep.
Yeah. Good for him.
I agree. I haven't heard a single person that said, well, if it would help the school. No, I haven't heard a single person say that. Everyone has said good for him. So that's shot number one. Shot number two is on a much lighter note, as they say at the end of your 10:30 news or 10 o'clock news, and that is the St. Louis Battlehawks will kick off on Sunday. They say that they have sold between 28 and 30,000 tickets for the Dome at America's Center. That'll take care of the lower bowl. Your coach for the Battlehawks this year is none other than Ricky Prohl. One of the fine possession receivers who made one of the most significant catches in St. Louis football history to get the Rams to the Super Bowl against the Buccaneers of Tampa. Don't forget, we will see some of those interesting new rules that we discussed a few weeks ago regarding the 4-point field goal and having to go for it if you're on your own side of the 50. So all of that Sunday, 11 a.m. on ESPN against the DC Defenders. And yes, you can start a rivalry, folks, in a short period of time, and we don't like the Defenders.
The Missouri State women are playing Stephen F. Austin. There's a gal on Stephen F. Austin. Her hair, she looks like she has a jellyfish on the back of her back. Wait till you see her hair.
Okay.
Oh, I see her right now. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. And they're playing at Austin. They're playing at Austin. They're playing at the Frank C. Irwin Center.
Yeah, because Texas is sitting there waiting for him when it's over.
Except it's the Moody Center now. So, okay.
Yeah,
Moody. Yep.
So with that, we are going to bring this episode of the St. Louis Sportus Podcast to an end. Again, thank you so much for following us. Thank you for listening. We appreciate each and every one of you who watch and or listen. Joe Sperlin, thank you, sir.
Yeah, always enjoy the when the Ava boys can get together and visit and talk about some sports.
Absolutely. Mr. Lansdowne, Douglas.
Yep. A great evening. Enjoyed it.
Sounds good. And folks, we will catch you next week. Enjoy March Madness. And until then, take care.
And that wraps another episode of the St. Louis Sportus Podcast. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest episodes. You can find these guys on all major podcast platforms. And thanks for listening.